Hey, good morning everyone, Mike here, and today I'm covering something completely off the cuff. I think this is the first time ever I had a video planned and a question I got on my YouTube channel made me rethink the whole day and cover that question solely with the video. So to the person who asked that question, thanks so much. It's a fantastic question. I'm going to read it right now, and I hope I don't butcher your name. So I believe your name is Jatana. Thanks for the question. The question is, I'm interested in what to buy first. Wholesale license versus shipping supplies versus stock versus printer or light box. I saw someone else ask this question, and it's exactly what I'm dealing with too. So what she's referring to is starting out in business. She doesn't know where to allocate her funds now that she just began. What should she spend the money she has available on first? And I think this is a fantastic question, and it really it affects a lot of people. A lot of people have this question, and I'm surprised it's the first time I've ever noticed it on my channel. And it's not something I thought about because I started over 5 years ago, and I've just learned so much since then. So I don't even think about what the problems I had back then. The number one mistake that anyone makes when they start out in an online business, reselling, e-commerce, is they allocate their funds in the wrong place. And this leads to them not being profitable and then going out of business very quickly. So it really is an important question to cover, and I'll cover it the best I can. Obviously, this is my opinion, but I'm pretty sure it's accurate for the most part. Maybe I'm off on a few little things. The first list in your priorities for your funds is merchandise. Whatever you're selling. Whatever you're going to use to turn your first $100 into the next $200, and then turn that $200 into $400. It is the most important part of starting a business, is getting your funding to go from very small to just relatively bigger. And it doesn't matter if you have $1,000 to start. Work on turning it into $2,000 before you go all in and start spending money on every little thing you need. The fact of the matter is, you don't need to go out and buy shipping supplies right away. You don't need to buy a brand new camera. As long as you have a cell phone and some decent lighting of some sort, you can use desk lamps. When I started, I used desk lamps and poster board as a backdrop, and it worked out fine. So start out small, start out frugal, be very smart with what you're buying, and just get the necessities and use priority mail flat rate stuff until you can afford boxes or you can afford some kind of shipping supplies that you need. My suggestion is always go get used boxes from Walmart, bars, salons, wherever you can get them locally. Local companies will happily give you their boxes because they're just in the way anyways. After you get merchandise, after you figure out what you're going to sell, you're going to move on to the products that help you be more efficient. But with that being said, the first section could be a long road. You could turn your $100 into $50. You can make a ton of mistakes. When I started out in business, my first year, I spent $2,000 that I had saved up on an e-commerce site, and it did terrible. It was a huge mess, and I ended up losing $2,000, and it actually put me out of business full-time and made me go find a full-time job and then sell part-time. That's how I ended up where I was to begin with. So expect to make mistakes. Expect to take a loss. Expect to, not do things perfectly. That's business, that's life. You have to learn as you go. You're never going to be perfect from the get-go. And if you manage to make it right from the start and be profitable the whole way, then you're probably a pretty lucky person. Now, the products that will make you more efficient are very important, because efficiency is probably the top thing for me when it comes to online sales. Listing quickly and taking photographs quickly and allocating your time efficiently, because time is everything. You can spend time reading YouTube comments or watching YouTube videos all day long, but if you don't go out there and actually do the things you need and do them efficiently, you're not going to get anywhere competing against other people online who are already established. So some things I would recommend to help efficiency are a LaserJet printer. You absolutely need to get one of these. It's a necessity for online sales. Do not get an inkjet printer. Better lighting and potentially a better camera of some sort. There's a lot of people arguing you can take photos with your cell phone. I personally disagree. I understand cell phones have much better quality now, but there's a clear difference between a cell phone picture and a little bit higher end of some sort of camera. Even if you only spend $100, there's a difference, and I personally, from my opinion, prefer a camera over just like cheap cell phone or whatever. And then some kind of product to help with your bookkeeping. Microsoft Excel is a great option. If you don't want to pay, you can use Google Docs, and they have Excel sheets in there you can use, or you can get a point of sale system or some sort of software. I highly suggest staying away from monthly fees when you start out in business. Everyone makes this mistake. They start signing up for all these programs like outright, and then some kind of auction sniping program, and then a repricer, and before you know it, you have $100-$200 a month you're paying in fees to these services. Make sure your business is established before you're paying a bunch of monthly fees. I personally buy everything outright. I have almost no monthly fees except for my eBay store, my Amazon Pro merchant account, and that's really it. I don't have monthly fees like that. I try to stay away from them. They can really put you in a bad spot if your sales aren't consistent. And then the last set of things you want to spend your funds on, and this is when you're down the road, you're really feeling like you're doing better, and you get the game, you understand what you're doing. It's things that make you more professional. It can be your wholesale license so you can get better products. It can be, some kind of branded boxes. It can be more professional shipping supplies as a whole. It can be better layouts that you paid someone to make for your eBay listing. It's whatever it is that makes your business more established, more professional. These things are at the bottom of the list because although professionalism is so important, you can convey professionalism without paying a bunch of money to create it around you. You don't have to have a graphic designer design your logo. You don't have to have, the most amazing listing template ever. But the point is, once you get to that time in your business, it's something you can focus on and you can upgrade. Now, with all the stuff that I'm saying here, it can vary so drastically based on what business you're in. It's completely different for a reseller versus a consultant. So always take a look at your situation. Make sure you understand what you're selling and who you're selling it to. Understand who you're competing against. And focus all of your time when you start out on two things: executing and learning. They're the two most important things in business ever. And a lot of people spend way too much time learning, and they're too afraid to execute, and they just sit around and wait around like they're going to learn and then not make any mistakes. That's not how life works. It's not how business works. Go out there and do it. Yeah, you might lose money. Yeah, you might make mistakes. But at the end of the day, you'll have a better knowledge base the following year than you started out with, and then you're in a better spot to succeed. Every reseller, I can guarantee you talk to any true reseller, they've lost a ton of money on things. They've made a ton of mistakes. And a lot of them don't talk about it. I always talk about my mistakes because I want a realistic view of what happens in business. It's not all, flowers and rainbows. There's lots of mistakes that are made. There's lots of money that's wasted. There's lots of products that people buy and they don't sell them. So always do your research, but also focus on executing. It's so much more important. Don't worry about the little things when you start. There was this giant debate on my page of this guy saying that he needed to go out and spend all this money to get all these business licenses and all these regulations for his locality and all this stuff. While that's the legal aspects of it, your general guidelines for business are you start to establish your business and then you're able to register everything. Business is set up so you can kind of slowly work into that threshold where everything's perfectly legal, you have everything documented, and you don't have to just start out with all the paperwork and get overwhelmed and spend hundreds of dollars to hire a lawyer to fill out all this stuff for you. It's really not a big deal. It's not how it works. Just like I know someone who opened a bar locally, and there's a lot of regulations on bars, and actually they didn't fill out all the proper paperwork. The local entities, whoever that is, actually came to them with the paperwork and said, hey, we need you to fill this out. We know you're just starting out. They're very understanding of what you're doing because you're going to make them money through taxes in the long run. So don't worry so much about the legal stuff right away. And I know people might disagree with that, but the fact of the matter is if you focus on nothing but that to start out, you're going to get so overwhelmed and you're going to have so many issues. So start your business out and make sure it's a business before you're registering it. Make sure you have all of your ducks in a row, because if you go right from the get-go, register your business, do all this stuff, get all the licenses that you need and whatever else to buy wholesale and whatever you're aiming to do, you spend a ton of money just starting out that you don't have to spend. And it's not okay. You need to get the funds and build them and grow your business organically and then get to that point. With that being said, one of the most important things that new business owners do not do is keep good track of their sales records. Keep track of your records. File your income, even if it's as miscellaneous or whatever on your taxes. Make sure you file all income you make through eBay, Amazon, online sales, Craigslist meetups, whatever. Make sure you file it, because Everything I just said is out the door if they catch you trying to undercut them, lie about the amount you're making and not pay your taxes. They will not work with you. And as Cliff Inico says, he always says that the tax people are like a dog. A dog can tell if you bump into them versus if you kick them. So don't kick a dog because they will come after you. So, just make sure you get your stuff together. Take it slow. You're going to make mistakes. Don't worry about it. But make sure you focus your funds on making money to start out. And I hope you succeed. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. I'll get to them. If you have anything further you'd like me to elaborate on, please let me know. I think a lot of people are so worried about all the little things that they don't focus on the big picture. The fact of the matter is, business is to do one thing. It's to make money. So focus on making money first and everything else later.